oh my God, my son got selected. So he's crazy about Michael Jackson. You know everything about Michael Jackson.
Yeah, we were singing a song together.
Oh, Jesus Christ. That boy is into MJ. He did, because it's Black History Month, they say you pick a personality, an African-American person, and you do a show about him, right?
Yeah.
So the little man picked Michael Jackson. And he danced like him, too. And we know the same song every single day. The boy is not, when he does something, is obsessed.
What song were we singing?
B-Day.
Who?
B-Day.
Sing it.
B-Day.
No.
Was that Billie Jean?
All you gotta do is, was it Beat It? Nah, we were singing another song. I was surprised that he knew the song. No. That's Beat It.
Just Beat It.
No, that's what we were singing.
Yeah.
We were singing Just Beat
Yeah.
It.
So anyway, he did the show. When he did his presentation at school, it's so funny because we practiced it at home, but the man knew everything by heart. So he did a presentation, and at the end, he does like Michael Jackson. He does this and he turn, and he do like the smooth.
Do the moonwalk.
And no, he does the things and he turn like this, and then he take his hat and he goes like, you know when he does the smooth criminal when he does this. So he turn like this, and then he take his hat and he put it like this, and he goes.
Is he watching videos?
He watched everything, yeah, and he did the thing, but he made it's core control.
Yeah.
Because when you do this,
Yeah. You can't tip over.
Yeah, he does not tip over. The
That's
boy
good.
really master it. So now he does that, and then at the end, and then he wear a jacket now. And he used to hate wearing costume. So now he has those
the
costume.
Michael Jackson jacket?
Yeah, just a jacket, like
Okay.
like you're going to a wedding stuff.
Okay. Oh, suit jacket.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he hated that. Now he wear it all the time. And then he did the presentation at school, and then everybody loved it. And the teacher sent me a note. Oh, for the African night, BJ has been selected for the second grader to talk and do a presentation about his.
Just in second grade?
It's just in second grade, yeah.
Man.
To do the presentation about Michael Jackson. So I was like, BJ, you were selected. And it was like, what? No, I'm going to be embarrassed. It was just my class. It was little, but no, do the same thing that you did. Do the dance. Now I have to find him a costume. So I'm going to dress him like Smooth Criminal, Michael Jackson, the white things and the blue and the hat and all that. So it's I was proud of him. I was like, look at you. And he has an A on his presentation. I was just like, I was so proud of him.
Screaming at the top of her lungs. And he's in the background. Just beat it. Let's go.
Well, one time I was yelling at them, and they looked at me and they say, I'm saying, oh my God, y'all so bad. And I hear, because I'm bad. All of them start screaming in the background. I say, I'm going to beat all of you guys up. I'm not playing with them. I'm serious.
I start singing with him. Danielle, she's talking. She just started fading out.
Came here in 2007, right in the middle of the crazy crisis. If your heart is not into it, do not do it. That's what I always tell them.
If you're making around $70K, look to be able to qualify for a home somewhere around $250, $275 in that bracket.
Onions and juices and all that, and put some lemon and onion, and you make him drink it, right?
And Alex, all my listings need a video. All of them.
Hi guys, welcome back to Let's Keep It Real. What did I just say? Night. Hey guys, welcome back for another episode of Let's Keep It Real Now. I am Danielle Bilumbu, your favorite host, and I'm here with my bestie,
Abu Jabi with A&P Lending. How y'all doing?
Awesome. So today we're going to talk about something very real estate related, guys. So just come closer and listen. We want to pull you here so you can learn a little bit more what it takes to be able to be approved, and then you will understand the behind the scene. We're going to lift up the curtain a little bit and understand the behind the scene when someone is currently under contract and undergoing the underwriter process. I know for a lot of people, that time is very, very stressful.
Yeah.
But you guys need to understand the reason why the underwriter stress you out. That's what we're going to do today.
Yeah.
Okay? Okay.
Let's do it.
Because it's a dramatic moment because your face is very serious right now.
It is. You see how it just changed? I formed in, got into my loan officer stance.
So when you go, when someone wants to buy a house, oftentimes as a realtor, we see client coming and bring us a pre-approval, but sometimes it's just a pre-qualification and not a pre-approval. Mm-hmm. The pre-qualification is the lender just did. It's just like the difference between doing a hard pull and a soft pull on your credit report. Mm-hmm. The soft pull, they just look, superficially. The hard pull, they really pull the full credit report and go to the detail of it. And that's the same thing between pre-approval and pre-qualification, mm-hmm. right? Mm-hmm. So how do you go about that?
So for me, what I do when I get a client, I take an application, right? Do the application, look at the credit score, see where our score is at. Then I look at their income. I see how long they've been on their job. I see if we need overtime to be able to qualify the client, or do I just need to use base income? I don't have to use the overtime. All these things are specific because if you're going to do overtime, that's not information you can get up front. Mm-hmm. You have to order verifications of employments and things like that to be able to have that data in front of you so you can make, that decision to see, if there's enough income to be able to qualify them that way. So I go ahead and pre-sub the file, look at it. Once I see that everything's there to where we can move forward, then I offer the pre-approval and I tell you, hey, Danielle, client's ready to go. They can go shopping for a home.
Okay. So on the home buying process, what exactly does the underwriter do? Is it required from a mortgage company to do the underwriter process or not?
Well, it depends.
It's not a law behind it, right?
Well, no, it's not a law behind it, but every company is going to have an underwriter. The underwriter, I always like to say, I look at the underwriter as the FBI agent. So you have your regular local police that may investigate a situation that occurs, but what they only have access to so much information that they can gain. But when you go to the FBI, they're able to go beyond just those basic necessities of seeing mm-hmm. what's going on with the criminal. They're able to see things behind the scenes. Well, that's the same thing with an underwriter. So I'm able to see things up front on your credit, what addresses you used to live at, your paycheck stubs. What the underwriter is there to make sure that all those things that you're providing to me are actual, real things. So everything has to line up from your job, making sure that we have a verification of employment, verifying that the company states that, yeah, you did work there for X amount of years.
Are you checking more than one employer, or you just check one?
We just check one, but it depends. You got some people that move around. So if you only been on the job for a year, and then your prior job, you were there for 2 years, we have to check both jobs to be able to connect those. Because we want to see 2-year consistency. Okay. The job of the underwriter is to make sure that the loan that they're going to approve on, that it doesn't get foreclosed on or rescinded. Because with each underwriter, every file that they approve, that file follows them. And it's kind of like a stat thing to put different underwriters in different boxes. So if you're an underwriter and let's say within the last 5 years, only 5 of your deals were foreclosed on or the person wasn't able to pay the loan, well, your stats are going to be much better than another underwriter, let's say, that was there for the same amount of time of you, but had 15
What does that mean, stat? That mean you guys have a database with all the underwriter?
Well, we don't, but they do within their underwriting.
Oh, so you need to have a license to become an underwriter.
Yeah, you definitely have to. You definitely have to go through training and be able to underwrite and understand. Because at the end of the day, you're the top person that allows that lending company to be able to lend money out and continue to lend money out because of properties are being foreclosed on. Now, the company that you work for has to be responsible for that loan.
Okay. Wow. I never really looked at it that way.
Yeah. So with the underwriter, with them, everything is black and white. Mm-hmm. They don't use common sense.
I know. I've been through it. I know one time they keep asking the same question over and over. And I remember my husband was so pissed off. Yeah. And then like, oh, you work here, but we need this. Well, you have the pay stub. Okay, but like that time where we were you wanted to see how many bonuses that he had, right? If it's something consistent every year. But he switched company, and the company that for where it was before, who gave him the bonus, was no longer existing. How do you prove something like that?
Yeah, so, I mean, that's the underwriter's job. At the end of the day, they want to see the bonuses are either the same or they're going up. If they start declining, then okay, income is declining in the bonus area. So now instead of doing it for just the 12 months, they're going to add the declining income in to make it a worst case scenario situation. So that's why they want to see all those prior years to be able to see, are his numbers going up as far as his bonuses or his base pay or his overtime, or is it going down? If it's going down, then worst case scenario, they're going to make you do those last 2 years versus just qualifying somebody off of the 12 months of income.
And then if they can, could they go back to 3 years, or is only 2?
No, it's only 2.
They don't make exception?
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, the 2 years, if you look at the 2 years, that's going to help you out more versus looking at 3. Now, if they looked at 3, let's say you had a fantastic year that first year, right? And then the second year declined. And then the third year kind of went up a little bit. They're not going to give you credit for that third year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What are the common mistakes that buyer make that causes them to be denied by the underwriter?
I mean, it's different things. Being under a loan and then taking a new job while you're under a loan, while you're under contract.
But if you take a new job and it's better pay, it should not be a problem.
Well, it shouldn't be, but when are you going to get that first paycheck?
Okay.
How long are we in the process to where we're almost at the closing table?
So pretty much if you have to switch your job, you need to do it the first week you enter in the contract so you have enough time to get your first pay stub in.
It's something that you want to talk to your loan officer about before you actually do it. There's a lot of clients out there that just do things because they think common sense. They understand how it works. You know, if I'm getting another job, I'm making more money, this should be okay.
Yeah.
But you need to talk to the expert and let the expert advise you on, is this something that you need to do or not? And that's the thing. There's going to be a lot of processes behind the scene that to you it may make sense, but within the mortgage world, everything is black and white. Everything is black and white. So it's all about what the underwriter can see and prove.
Okay, so if you don't have proof, you're out.
You're out.
Like if you do a lot of payment in cash,
you're out. Unless you have an expert loan officer like myself, Abu Jabi, that has relationships with underwriters and can get exceptions.
So if somebody oftentimes make the car payment on cash or house payment in cash.
Yeah, it's tough. You have to do paper trails when it comes to underwriters.
You heard me. I'm talking for experience. Like,
yeah. You have to do paper trails when you're making these payments. It has to be something that the underwriter can prove that it was paid. When it comes to cash, you don't know who paid it. Now, if you took the money out of your bank and we can show a bank statement that amount came out of your bank, then we can trail the money that way as long as it equals the same amount to the cash payment.
So avoid how long should you avoid to do everything in cash? Like 3 months before pre-approval, 6 months before, 2 months before?
It's always 3 months.
You guys only ask for 2 months of bank statement.
We only ask for 2 months of bank statement. So anything on that 61st day, you're good.
It never happened they asked for another third bank statement?
It's always 60 days unless you have money that's on that bank statement that was transferred from the previous month.
Okay.
So then we're going to need the previous month to source that money showing the underwriter where that money came from.
So if the buyer say, I'm going to use my 401k to pay for my house, this is the money, but then actually they get money after cash. And they have the money and they can just pull that instead of doing their 401k. It has to come from the 401k account?
If we're stating on an application that we're using 401k to be able to have down payment and closing costs, we're going to have to provide the 401k account. We're going to have to provide verbiage from the 401k company that money is able to be released to the employer.
You cannot use any other money after that. Could you switch in between?
No. No. Once we approve for that money to be used that way, we have to use it that way. Now, if it comes a situation where, for whatever reason, they don't want to use that 401k money and they got money from another area that's sourceable, as long as we can source it, we can use it.
Okay, that's interesting. What are some of the big mistakes you have seen over your 20-year career plus?
Man, I mean, where do I start? I mean, I've seen a lot of different problems just with, let's say, this last transaction that me and you worked on. We have a borrower that's paying, helping their parents pay for rent, and they're paying a partial amount, and then you have the parent that's paying another amount, but the rent's $1,600. You got $1,300 coming from borrower A, and then you got the rest coming from the daughter in cash. How do I prove that? How do I prove that? So, I mean, there's a lot of things that people are doing to be able to make ends meet. But when it comes to purchasing a home, there's a process that you have to go through in order to be able to obtain that home. And that's where the underwriter comes into play.
Which other mistake have you seen that you're like, oh my God, why would you do that?
I mean, putting earnest money down and borrowing the earnest money from your mom, getting the earnest money, telling your mom, hey, I need the earnest money, and then we have to change it to put it in a gift, or let's see, we got switching jobs. You got going out and buying a car. While we're in the actual transaction, you go out to buy a car. You don't tell me anything. I pulled your credit. Once I pull your credit, I don't have to pull your credit again. But what happens, right before we get to close, the underwriter's going to do a soft pull on your actual account and see, has there been any new established accounts, or is there any collections that have hit the account? And then I'll get an email, borrowers open a auto loan.
So those that means purchased can just kill the deal.
It can kill the deal. It can kill the deal. I mean, with borrowers, it's good to be educated. It's good to, and the other thing is, be upfront with your loan officer when you're talking to your loan officer
So the
about
loan
your
officer
situation.
is like the lawyer, right?
Yeah, the loan officer is the lawyer. I'm just the middle person. All I'm doing is pleading your case to the underwriter, which is the judge and the jury and the prosecution. Yeah.
So what are some of the red flags that you have seen that you knew, this is not going to pass with underwriter from the get-go?
Somebody giving me fake bank statements. I've had a client that gave me fake bank statements. Actually, they called me on a Saturday crying.
The tear don't mean anything, sister.
Yeah.
Senor.
She was crying. She was like, I don't know what's going on. I'm going through the builder. We were supposed to close. I was supposed to move. And for some reason, they just killed the deal on me.
They didn't tell her why?
I was like, oh, wow. I was like, what happened? I don't know. They said something's looking funny and this and that, but I'm not doing anything. But I got your number from so-and-so, and I just want to see if you can help me out. I said, well, look, it's Saturday. When Monday comes, I'm going to go ahead and give you a call. I can go ahead and pull credit, look at your application, see what we can do. Did everything. Everything was going, submitted a loan. We got an approval on the loan. It was time for us to show bank statements, to show cash to close. Looked at the bank statements. Bank statements looked it legit. Submitted it. I didn't even look at it twice. Submitted it to the underwriter. They came back and they say, bank statements look fraudulent. Ending balance is not equaling the amount, because like on the bank statements, you're going to have total deposits. So whoever she paid to do her bank statements, they messed it up by 2 pennies.
Oh, my God.
No lie. She lost the loan behind 2 pennies because it didn't add up correctly as the final numbers. And, you know, with bank statements, that's computer generated. It's not math done by man. It's all done by a computer. So when it didn't add up, it already red flagged.
She did make a copy of the first one. She submitted it first, so she won't.
But this was another. I mean, you know, time it went on, she had to provide another one. But as soon as I presented her with it, she bust out crying again.
Lord Jesus. Yeah. But at least, you started shady, so that's the result you get.
The investor tried to flag me to where I couldn't even submit loans to them anymore. And I was like, oh no, that's not happening. At the end of the day, I had no knowledge to this. This is something that I submitted. This is something that was done on my client's thing, and I had nothing to do with that.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how inconsistent work history can impact an approval push for a denial?
Well, I mean, if you're going and you're working 3 months at one job, you're working 2 months at another job, you're working a month at another job, those inconsistencies can hurt you because they're not seeing any longevity as far as work history.
Is that the same for, like, sometimes you have people that work as a contractor, like those traveling nurses. Yeah. They travel a lot, so they would have a contract for 3 months in California, and then they come back, and then they have another contract in Texas for, 4 months, and then they maybe have 2-3 weeks, 4 weeks break, and then they find another contract. That can really hurt them? No.
I mean, as far as contract workers, when you have nurses, that type of situation, what we do is we obtain all their 1099s for that fiscal year, right? So if you've been a travel nurse, you have to at least been a travel nurse for at least 2 years in order for you to purchase something.
So you cannot be like a regular nurse and then you start traveling nurse for a year?
It's case by case.
Okay.
Everything is case by case. So it depends on, what's the change in pay from when you were working as a regular nurse. Are you being paid too much at a quick time? How long are you going to be paid that amount? When is that contract going to end? These are the things that the underwriters make decisions on based off of the format that they have to go through to get somebody to be approved. But as far as the traveling nurse is concerned, to answer your question, Danielle, we get all their 1099s and we average it over the last 2 years.
Okay.
So if you're making $100 an hour now, but prior to you were making $40 an hour, we combine all that together, get that mid-range income, and qualify you based off of the mid-range.
Okay. Sometimes I'm confused. You will see a client who get denied by a lender, and then you go turn around. Sometimes that happen. I have a client, they're under contract, and something happen, and these lenders say, nope, deny. Yeah. And then I turn around, I call you, I call somebody else, and they approve.
Usually it's me.
Why? Sometimes I'm like, if you guys do the same job, if they have to be denied here, they could be denied here too, or approved here, they should be able to be approved. Sometimes I'm like, sometimes I just don't want to ask the question. I'm like, okay, you approve. Let's move on. But
every mortgage company is different.
They have their own set of rules.
Everybody has their own set of rules. You have some mortgage companies that only deal with A-paper clients. They don't want to deal with high risk. They deal with A-paper.
What is A-paper?
A-paper means high credit.
Okay.
Right? So credit from 720 and up. Mm-hmm. They only deal with those type of clients. You have other mortgage companies that can do it all, from your A-paper to your B to your more complex loans to your non-QM loans, which is a non-qualifying mortgage. With those loans, they're not under a Fannie and Freddie regulation. Mm-hmm. They're able to do things at they're loaning money at a private sector, and they don't have a bunch of rules that they have to adhere to as far as like Fannie and Freddie.
That's interesting. Can a gift fund can be problematic during the transaction and then causes the buyer to be denied?
It can be.
What could cause that?
Getting a gift from a non-family member. And
family member, by the mortgage company definition, is?
Grandparents, mm-hmm. Mom, dad, mm-hmm. brother, sister. Mm-hmm. That's it.
What about the kids?
And children.
Yeah. So if I have my boyfriend, mm-hmm. we'll be living together for 5 years, mm-hmm. and I decide to buy a house, mm-hmm. but because he can't qualify, everything is under my name. Mm-hmm. Could he give me money for the down payment?
He's not considered a family member.
But we're going to live together.
Yeah, that's common sense.
It's common law if we've been together for 5 years.
Well,
if the state of Texas acknowledge him as common law, why not the mortgage company?
It's case by case. Depending upon the entity that we're dealing with, it's something that we can probably push and try to fight for. Mm-hmm. Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. But typically, as far as the rules, family members are labeled a specific way, and a boyfriend is not a family member.
Oh, wow. That's cold. Especially if you will be helping paying the mortgage.
Hey, I'm just a I'm just a messenger.
Okay. And then what are some common credit mistake related that buyer will make during the transaction?
Credit mistakes.
Oh, I have one time.
Go ahead.
The client forgot to pay a $25 credit card.
Yeah.
And then you guys pull credit again and
Yeah.
realize he was late and his number dropped by a little bit, not too much, but by 5 or 6 points or something
Yeah.
like that. And he had to go underwriter again.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean that happens. But yeah, common mistakes like that. Common mistakes, like I stated before, going out and acquiring new debt. Forgetting to pay a bill, or something new popping up on the credit, right? Knowing that you have a collection out there for a medical bill. We don't look at medical bills, but it affects your score.
But they don't put medical bills in your credit anymore. They stopped
Well,
that.
they still do. It hasn't gone into effect yet, but they still do. But yeah, in the future, medical bills will no longer be added to your credit report.
I know the self-employed borrower face different challenges. What's some of the challenges that the self-employed borrower face with the underwriter?
Typically, with self-employed borrowers, what you're going to look at and see is tax returns. When you're dealing with W-2 employees, they're hourly employees, their hours are fixed, they pay their taxes up front typically, taxes are taken out, so those borrowers are typically easier to qualify. When you're looking at your self-employed employee, they're doing taxes, so what they're trying to do when they go see the tax guy is write off as much as they can. So they may be making, some money, but on paper, it's not showing the money that they're actually making. So typically, you'll see people that have tax returns, we try to qualify them, and we have to qualify them for a lower number than what they actually want. So that's why they came out with a lot of different programs now where we have bank statement programs or a 1099 program where you can just look at actual deposits to see the money being there, or looking at 1099s that they receive from different companies where we can get those and average those over the 2 years and be able to qualify them to show money where there's no negative write-offs.
Could appraisal cause some issue also for buyer?
Oh yeah. The whole mortgage process from beginning to end, it's a process in itself. From doing the inspection, as you know.
Do you like to receive home inspection report?
I don't look at them.
But does the underwriter ask for it?
No.
What about the seller's disclosure? Do they ask for it?
No.
Why? You would think.
All they care about is the appraisal. The job of the underwriter is the appraisal. But for me, what I think personally is if they were to look at the inspections and the seller guide, we would lose more transactions.
For sure.
Yeah, we would lose more transactions.
They see foundation does not look stable, or the roof is end of life.
Yeah.
They'll be like, we're done.
Yeah.
But the appraisal goes, especially in the FHA, and tell you guys, right?
Yeah, but they're not specialists.
No, they're not.
So
but sometimes they put some stuff under the condition the AC was making weird sound.
That's when it's an extreme level. Right? If it's that bad, they go on the roof and they walk on it and it's warped, they're gonna say there's some roof issue.
But sometimes I feel like they really don't, because I have a transaction one time. The AC was running really, really hard. Like the sound was brutal. I told the salespeople, hey, you guys need to, the listing agent, you need to check your AC system because the sound is really bad. I don't want the final walkthrough to come with my buyer and the AC is dead. So could you please send a contractor there? The guy didn't do it. I know we had the appraisal. The appraisal came in. He has to hear the sound, but they haven't put anything. I was like, okay, maybe the appraiser will put that on the appraisal report and put that as a condition, like the AC should be checked or repaired or whatever. Yeah. Didn't put anything on it. But then guess what? One day I would decide to just go check on the property, and I went there and the AC was dead. So I called the listing agent, and thanks God they replaced the whole AC system before closing and stuff. Right. But I was thinking the appraiser will flag that and tell the mortgage company.
Again, it's case by case. You got some slouchy appraisers that go out that don't do their job completely. It's like anything in life, right? Or you have some appraisers that take their job very seriously and do the ins and outs of their job. So it all depends on who you get. For us at A&P Lending, we have a specific appraisal portal with specific appraisers that we use that we have experience with, so we don't run into these problems.
So on a FHA, if the appraisal come back too low, for example, oftentimes either the seller needs to drop his price or the buyer won't come up with the money, or the buyer can walk away if everything fall within that third-party financing addendum time frame. So how does that work with you guys if, for example, the deal fell through and then you order another appraisal and you realize, oh, this property already had an appraisal less than 6 months on an FHA case, for example?
Yeah, so the appraisal follows the property. So you can't just go out and order another appraisal to have another appraiser appraise it. So
you're going to just use that one?
You're going to use that one, or you can plead a case with them to say, hey, well, I found these comps or I found this, and present it to that specific appraiser to see if they can go ahead and bring the price up on the property.
So when you see in your bank or whatever area you guys are look, you see this one already have an appraisal, you just pull that appraisal so the buyer can save money instead of paying you guys to get it?
It's a FHA thing, right? So typically with FHA, it's more lower income clients that we're dealing with. So we don't want to have to continuously put them in a position to where they have to pay for, multiple appraisals. So they have a FHA case number, and that FHA case number follows that borrower.
Okay. What advice would you give to a realtor to help the buyer to qualify and they will not bump into underwriter issue? What would you advise realtor?
I wouldn't advise realtors to do anything really, because realtors have their own specifics that they are experienced in, that they need to, stay in that actual box to be able to help the client out. I would just tell the realtor to talk to their professional loan officer and let them explain those steps with them.
And what's some misconception buyers and sellers have about the underwriter? Do you know?
Oh, they're out to get them. He doesn't like me.
I heard in the past somebody told me, oh, I think they're doing this because
I'm black,
or
I'm Chinese,
I'm
or
Asian,
I'm Indian,
whatever
it is.
But sometimes no. What I realized over the year is they're just doing, just like you say, they're the police. No, more than the police, they're the FBI,
they're the
CIA.
FBI. Like no joke. Whatever you're doing, whatever's going on,
and the dark will come to light.
They're gonna find out. So you might as well tell me, be upfront, and let me tell you which way we can go to navigate through this. But yeah, the underwriters want to close the deal. They just want to make sure that it doesn't follow their name.
Yeah, one time I saw someone, husband and wife, buying a house. The husband has in his account money coming out. So the husband has money in another account. They were using one account, but he has extra money on another account, and he will use some of the money. So the underwriter had the copy of the bank statement, so he provided that. And then the underwriter realized that there is some money they were going out consistently every month. Mm-hmm. So they start digging, come to find out the hubby has a child on the side, and every month he was paying. He was paying on the side, and then when the underwriter send, like you guys send an email to the buyer and say, these are the different things that you need to justify, give me a letter of explanation of this, right? The husband has to come clear in front of his wife that
wow,
he has an extra bambino on the side.
Oh wow,
that was just crazy.
Yeah,
they almost didn't buy the house.
Hey, they made it through.
Yes, they made it through. Eventually, they separated, but they made it through during that transaction and then finished it up. But that's how she found out that he was cheating, and he was not cheating anymore, but he has another child outside of the house.
The act. Yeah. Hey.
This is crazy. Yeah. So what should buyer not do? Well, we kind of brush it off. What you should not do while you're getting, you don't do anything that have to mess with your finances pretty much and keep your job. And then keep a trace and your finances together pretty much, right? Yeah. So that's pretty cool. And then what? Tell me something fun about Underwriter, because we've been saying a bunch of bad stuff about them. What is fun about them?
When you have an experienced underwriter that knows what he or she is doing, it's really a pleasure to be able to work with them, first and foremost, because you know, they'll help you get the deal closed. So,
I think in that part, it's not really just that. I think it's more like the loan officer part, because you anticipate a lot. Like sometimes when we talk and then you say, well, this is what's going on with this transaction, Danielle, and then you anticipate. So sometimes you ask for extra document in advance. They didn't ask you yet, but you ask the document in advance just in case it come back, so we don't waste time.
Because I know it's coming, right? I know it's coming. There's already this there through my experience of doing it for so long. The underwriter's going to ask for this. So let's go ahead and ask for it now and get it up front and just already have it in place, because time is sensitive.
Exactly. Yeah, we don't have a lot of time. When you think about closing in 30 days, where in Europe, in France, it takes them 3 months, 2 to 3 months to approve a loan. Right here, you can do everything in 28 days. 30 days. So it's not a lot of time for you guys to do everything you need to do.
No, for sure.
You know, to qualify somebody.
For sure. But, you know, as a loan officer, when you're dealing with these different investors and you've been sending loans to them for a while, you start developing relationships with the underwriters. They know how you work as a loan officer. You know how they work as an underwriter. And there's a relationship there. So, you know, that helps into the client's benefits.
So what client buyers and sellers should do to avoid any surprise or any issue, you know?
Just whatever your loan officer asks for you, provide it. Provide it. If you want to ask questions, questions are cool, but I'm not the enemy. The loan officer, he or she is not the enemy. We're here to try to get the deal done. When you start seeing a lot of resistance from a buyer, then you're going to see that they're trying to hide something or something's going on behind the scene. So typically those are red flags that you look at to say, well, wait a minute, because us as loan officers, we have licenses. We can get in trouble. We have to renew those every year. So we have to make sure that everything we do is by the law.
What does it take to become a loan officer?
Basically what you have to do is go to class. You take the class, then you have to pass the actual test.
And every year you have to take classes to renew your license? Every year? Realtor is every 2 years.
Yeah, it's a money grab for us. So every year we have to do continuing education, 8 hours, and we have to pay that money.
Oh, it's not that much. We have a lot of hours.
Yeah.
We have a lot of hours. And then when is the best time for somebody to reach out if they're thinking about buying a home?
It's always good to reach out at least 3 months before you think that it's time for you to move. You never know what obstacles you may have in your situation that we may need to create some type of avenue to jump over it. So it's good to be able to look at your profile at least 90 days before you're actually wanting to look at a home, so we can come up with a plan of action.
That's good. So hopefully you guys learned a little bit more about Underwriter and the process of getting approved and get the deal done so you can move into your new home. Make sure to reach out to Abu if you have any question regarding selling is me, but regarding buying and all the process. He said 3 months, but I think if you're thinking about it, it's just the time for you to contact a loan officer and see if you can truly qualify. Maybe even a year or 2 years or 6 months, or at least get you prepared, because, you know, we never know. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to write down some of your comments. Reach out to us if you have a question or any question you would like for us to answer for you in the future. Make sure to subscribe. Thank you for watching, and à bientôt. I came here in 2007, right in the middle of the crazy crisis. If your heart is not into it, do not do it. That's what I always tell them.
If you're making around $70K, look to be able to qualify for a home somewhere around $250, $275 in that bracket.
As onions and juices and all that, and put some lemon and onion, and you make him drink it, right?
And Alex, all my listings need a video. All of them.